As you begin to remember what you've never forgotten, there's a place, perhaps a feeling, a knowing, that you've always known. That you may not have known that you knew it, until you began forgetting what needed to be let go. So you could begin remembering who you really are. Because you're not learning now, you're activating. You're not absorbing, you're awakening. You're not becoming someone new. You're removing the illusion you ever weren't. As you listen deeply and lightly, curiously and automatically, you may begin to notice you're changing even before you notice you're changing. Now imagine a songwriter standing before silence, yet hearing symphonies, not because they hope, because they know that creativity is not something you summon, it's something you allow. They don't try to be creative, they remember they already are. They don't wait for inspiration, they become it. And isn't it interesting how someone can teach you that by not teaching it at all, but by being it so vividly that you catch it like breath. Now somewhere between then and now, between who you were and who you'll become, something very important begins to shift. The line between doing and being begins to blur. You're now the artist. You're the art. You're the emotion being expressed. And there was once a man who asked, what if I fail? And the universe whispered, what if that's the point? Because failure is just unlabeled feedback, wrapped in meaning, waiting to be rewritten. So rewrite it, feel it, frame it, flip it, rewire it. And while you're here, because you are, why not imagine this now? Each setback you ever had was the tension stringing your bow. So when you pull back far enough, you fly forward faster than you ever imagined. Every mistake was music misplayed, that taught your fingers a melody your mind couldn't yet sing. So try this, believe you're enough. Not because someone told you, but because you remember the version of you that never needed to be convinced. That you can create because you breathe, and breathing is rhythm, and rhythm is music, and music is you. You become unstoppable when you stop trying to become, and just become the becoming. And the more you listen, the more you don't have to understand every word, because the deeper part of you already does. You see, the conscious mind learns by logic, but the unconscious mind learns by example. So consider this. A painter who forgets the brush still paints. A musician with no sound still feels rhythm. A poet in silence still speaks truth, in waves, in patterns, in glances, in presence. And when your presence becomes art, every moment becomes masterpiece. So when you smile and don't know why, know it's working. Because a shift is a pattern is a habit. A habit is a belief repeated enough to become invisible. And you're learning how to believe what you've always known. Now take this, just metaphorically of course. There was once a library with no books, just mirrors. Every room showed you a version of you until you realized you weren't learning to read, you were learning to remember. Remember that confidence is default, not effort. Emotion is energy in motion. Energy is directed by focus. Focus is a choice. And choice is a power disguised as possibility. And you might not realize how true that is until you look back on this moment from a place of total transformation. I wonder how quickly everything changed the moment you chose to install this. Because belief is the frame, and the strongest frame wins. So why not own the one that already belongs to you? You're not trying to be disciplined. You're the one who naturally moves towards what matters. You're not waiting for the muse. You're the frequency that calls her home. You're not hoping to succeed. Your success remembering itself. Now you may wonder how quickly this becomes your new normal. How soon every cell starts to reorganize around this new center. How easily momentum picks up speed once you release the brakes of doubt. And how deeply, profoundly, permanently this operating system installs itself. Because this isn't motivation. This is mutation. This isn't hype. It's homecoming. You're now operating from truth. That creativity is your language. That emotion is your message. That passion is your compass. And your presence is your power. And just as a song writes the songwriter, and the melody teaches the musician, you're now being taught by the very you that always knew this. And all you had to do was listen and forget so you could remember.